Go ahead and do it. Uh, hey. Okay, we're running a few seconds late, but we are here. Welcome, everybody. We are H&D Abroad. I'm Herman. This is my beautiful bride, D.
Hello, everyone. And where are we ready on there?
Yeah, we kind of ready. It's been one of those days already.
Okay, so we want to say thank you for joining us. As I said, it had been a few months since we've done a Ask Us Anything, Almost Anything session. I see there are a couple of questions in the chat. If you are new to our channel, if the YouTube algorithm is serving you our content, welcome. Absolutely. We are always appreciative of those who are interested in our content, which is really focused on our move abroad journey as a couple leaving the US and deciding on a place that feels like home. We use a variety of methods, including just plain old do your Google's research. Mm-hmm. We are meeting people online and in communities. And our audience shares a lot of great detail. And then we take everyone along on our scouting trips, which looks like we'll be able to do a few new places this year. Absolutely. So it's a nice time to take stock of the 1 year process of getting ourselves together, getting our house together, bringing our getting our kids and our parents, to understand what we're doing. So if you are interested in seeing what a real life move abroad process looks like, go ahead and like the video. Those of you all who are here today, please go ahead, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and
hit the notification bell. As always, this is a conversation, even more so today than usual, but definitely this is always a conversation, and it's how we learn and it's how we build this community together. So we ask if you're in the chat, put your questions in. We see some there already. Put your questions in. Let's talk. We'll tell you if it's none of your business. It's okay. And if you are watching this later, please hit #replay in the comment section, because we respond to all the comments that come our way, because we want to share. And this is an ongoing conversation even after this live session. So
absolutely. So we're going to go.
Obviously.
Well, let's see. Go ahead and say hello. Hello, Anita. Hey, Bayesian Alpha 4. Hello, Greta. Let's see. I'm supposed to be clicking on everybody's name, y'all. Oh, hey, girl. That's my girlfriend right there. And I don't know, is it
girl? She just
Abbott's girl? I'm sorry. And because I was noticing, I don't know if it's Stephen and LaShawn, Stephen or LaShawn with Living, Loving Abroad. Greta, y'all, we have done a lot of we've done some practical work. We've done a lot of internal work. Mm-hmm. We are watching a lot of channels that are helping us to see, I don't need $100,000 to move abroad. I don't need to build up that level of safety. I think some other things that I've been working through are everything doesn't have to be ideal. I need to have enough good things and, to make a plan of leaving and some backups. And I think we're doing what we can, that if we need to come back, we can do that. If we need to reset, this country isn't right for us, that we've got enough information to either bop around mm-hmm. before choosing a place. So a lot of what I feel is that I felt a weight of trying to make sure I got it right mm-hmm. before leaving. And now I'm just like, okay, even if I have to consider it an extended vacation and we just vacation till we find the place that we like, that I'm going to make that okay.
this in the year and a half, since we have publicly been on this journey. We have learned a lot. We have changed our minds a lot. We've had situations change and grow, and those pieces have shifted some of the conversation and our learning experience in this process, our opinions about a few things.
Yep.
So we'll jump in as Anita is clearly saying to us here, she has plenty of questions. So we will start. We will start with her question right up here.
Yeah.
Have we settled on a date to move? Okay, good, great first question. The answer.
I was going to say maybe not a date, but definitely a time frame.
The reality of life when you are living life in real time, and the adjustments of what is available or how you can go about the process changed. I think we were at one point in this at the very beginning where it was kind of like pack a bag, let's run for cover and let's see what happens. Let's throw a penny in there and see what grows. But we've always committed to being responsible in this move. What is best for us? What originally there was the thought of when we go, we don't want to ever have to come back. You know, there was that solid, you know, give it all up, and everything needs to be right to give it all up. As we have grown in this process, there's been more of a fluidity in the learning of how to make this go, expanding the traveling opportunities, as well as some of the places that we have been interested in have increased or waned based on what our desires are as a couple, as well as what are some things that have been available to us that weren't available for, and vice versa. It was our hope, and to some degree still is our hope, to make some level of move this physical year. We are committing to some financial responsibilities that we want to make sure do not derail the process. So we've put in some time to flush through some things that could potentially push our timeline into next year. That was a bit of a disappointment.
Big, because I was saying I wanted to be out by before the election.
Right.
So I was like, you know, November, we need to have been gone. There's some other things that would have put, and I'm trying not to lean into Beijing Alpha 4's question because hers is next. But depending on what we do, a definitive date. So we know we would need to be in Spain by the end of September. And so that would give us more of a settled date. The way that we're moving, if we were, because now I'm saying, and I'm saying, but because we're saying there are some, we've talked about debt on this channel, because there are some things we want to make sure are not dipping into our pocket, then it's more of this year is going to be going to that, and then front loading the emergency fund and that cushion that we want to have, so that, because, you know, startup costs are going to be what they're going to be. I feel like I have to set a date. I feel like I need to set a date, because if I don't, there's always going to be something that gets in the way and makes me move that date ahead.
Correct.
And so, y'all, it's really hard when when you decide to get on YouTube or social media and say, I'm going to do something, people are following that.
Mm-hmm.
What we're offering is that it has to work for us. And I think that's what H is saying. That's what I'm wanting to make sure when we're addressing is, have we settled on a date? Unfortunately, it's not going to be this year unless we win the lottery. And I don't even play the lottery.
Right.
But, even before I want to say a time frame, but I don't want to. I want to be positive toward we are doing what it takes to make sure that debt is not at the top of our concern when we leave.
As
we're gonna owe. I mean, there's always gonna be somebody we're going to owe.
Yeah,
but there's a pecking order, and we didn't want who's at the top of this year's list
to be calling up
to be.
As Greta and Living Loving Abroad are saying in their conversation, is I want the funds that I have to be invested in the process I'm in and not know that it's always siphoning off to something else that I have to take care of. And so I'm then trying to adjust how to make that move. We want this move to be as seamless. Even if I have a fistful of dollars, it's a fistful of dollars we planned for. It's a fistful of dollars that we budgeted for, and we know this is what we're going to do and why. And that is, and Alan, hey Alan, good to see you. Our timeline
is our timeline.
Yeah.
And y'all, I have gone back and forth on whether our son, our youngest, is really influencing our timeline. I think as a mommy, he's graduating. He's on track to graduate. Why not? Because it fits into our timeline. I did not want to say that I was waiting for him to graduate, but it seems to sync up potentially. And so whether our official move is when he graduates or not, we've been able to spend enough time away to feel like even if we left in March or February, like he's holding it down right now.
One of the things you have to accept with family in particular, and that's a question I saw later that I'll come back to, is that neither they or we will be inaccessible. We will still live in a way that if things happen, we can bring them to us, or we can make our way back to them.
Yeah.
And this is not, 1712 where your family moves across to the other side of the country and you may never see them again. The world is much smaller than it used to be. We just recently went and saw my grandmother. She celebrated her 95th birthday a couple of weeks ago. And I did not realize until we were planning the trip that it's been 5 years since I physically had seen her, because at her 90th birthday was 2019. The very next year was COVID. COVID lasted because of the facility that she lived in. They were on restrictions straight through 2022. Yeah. And then we had
life.
Yeah. And so we made a point of driving up to see her. It does not take long, but we've been on video chat with her. We've been on the phone with her weekly. And contact is important. Yeah. And so we want to make sure that we part of our decision is still family, but not letting that deter us. So that was hope that we answered that question. Okay.
any word on Spain.
So
So
Bayesian Alpha
I,
4, any word on Spain?
we're keeping Spain in play. So the way that we're keeping Spain in play is we've talked about applying to the North American Language and Cultural Exchange Program, NowCap. So let's see. So we talked about submitting the application. The application process opened later because they were switching to a new system. So while we were watching the Super Bowl, we were applying to the NowCap program. Maybe about a month or so ago, our status changed to say that everything that we submitted was exactly what it was supposed to be. Y'all, we read, reread, went on, Reddit and the Facebook groups to make sure that everything that we needed to have was exactly what they were asking for. So right now they're still processing the thousands of applications. So I figure, let's say, if there is what do you call that? A RIF, not a RIF, a layoff.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. If there's a layoff at my job and I'm a casualty of that, we got somewhere to go.
Yes, Spain is still high on. I'm increasing in my interest in Spain because of access space. I view location different than D. Location is a bigger issue of where we're going, access to interest. I mean, that's your primary for her as well. But I don't know if, you've heard me say before, I don't know if specific, this place, if I'm that minded in things, it's what does the area, what is the interest, what is the learning opportunities, what is the traveling opportunities? And so Spain is still well within the interest level. Spanish countries, I think, have really a high level of interest on our radar. Living, loving abroad is in Ecuador.
We're getting to Ecuador.
I still love Ecuador. There are some things about what's going on in Ecuador that give me pause, but that's just me. But I also haven't had a chance to go and be hypnotized yet. So that's the hope.
It's got a lot of the positives. I mean, they haven't asked us about Ecuador, but Spain, I get a chance to be closer to my cousins that I have not. They're in Europe as well, and it would be really nice to be close to them and my aunt, and to be. What I love about Spain is, even though Spanish is different even within the regions of Spain, but within countries that speak Spanish, just being in country. But y'all, the more videos I watch about the trains, the low cost travel, the ability to be in the Schengen zone more than 90 days, just going under the student visa and not having the financial overlay on top of that from taxes. Like, the way we're talking about going to Spain is so attractive to us. Even the working 16 hours a week and making euros is just, I mean, what is there not to love? And then siesta. Oh, well, siesta and sangria, but siesta.
And I'm jumping around through the comments so I can kind of keep some of the comments in the conversation. I'm gonna jump down here to Greta's question, so that it's in line with this.
Okay.
Well, we visited Sevilla last year while we were visiting Morocco in Marrakesh. I really liked Sevilla. I liked the pace that was. What's the name of the place that we were looking at? Names away. Begin with the M, I thought.
Malaga.
Yeah, I really liked the way that sounded.
Yeah, because at Nikki's in the comments too. So Malaga's come up on my list because of the diversity,
Right.
the that's in the city, as well as, but it's also because it's coastal, at cost, and where people tend to,
Mhm.
expats tend to, and tourists tend to gravitate. And so I almost don't want to say it, but Yolanda's in, that we've had on our channel, is in Zaragoza. That is very high
Agreed.
on my list. Valencia is also very high on our list. Knowing, with NowCap, that the regions where we're talking about going, um, we may not be in the main city. And so we've been having to kind of adjust some of our expectations around, being in a city center versus being in a puebla. And being in a puebla in Spain is actually looking very attractive to us. We can maintain our financials a whole lot better,
Mhm.
in a smaller area, but it's away from the larger cities, which actually fits
Right.
the over 50 lifestyle that we're trying to
and would
embrace.
allow us still to travel, because then we got to go, to go and see and do, and it's going to encourage that traveling, but allow us to be out of the rush, without,
Yeah.
and maybe even be in a little deeper in the culture of an area. That's kind of what we talked
Right.
about with moving to places like Mexico, is being in some of the smaller
In the puebla there.
pueblas or villas in
Yeah.
there, and because I really am going to have to challenge my language skills, and I really want to be deeper in there. So, great question.
Great questions, guys.
This is definitely Stephen, if you're wondering.
Hey, Stephen.
We would like y'all to join us filming a special game show episode in June.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
Absolutely.
So we've been watching Stephen and LaShawn. We've had them on our channel. It's probably time to have them come back around, because they've hit 2 years in Ecuador. And we had our first It Cost What conversation with them. A lot of people really enjoyed hearing, like housing and food cost. Stephen's in the gym, um, but also, being in a smaller area. I think we were inspired by their story. Quito is a large hub, but Salinas is where they are, is smaller, and to see how their community is close knit, very supportive. It really opened our eyes. So when I say, y'all, look in the chat. There are a lot of people with channels in the chat,
Yeah.
getting to see their stories, hearing their updates about what's happening, how they're growing. I said, did you buy I asked him if he bought a motorcycle, and he was like, no, I bought a fast scooter.
If you want to watch a couple who are enjoying life at their pace,
Mm-hmm.
with the way they do it, Steve and LaShawn make watching life at real time fun to watch.
Absolutely.
I just want to say how much we appreciate the story and the experience that you all are sharing with us. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Hey, Kimmy Apple, good to see you. Hey, servant teacher Nikki. Let's see. All right.
Yes.
Has your family settled in their minds the idea of your moving abroad?
Okay, so you can do the family and I can do the friends. You do family.
Family in general, yes.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm saying in general, so let's start with our household. Our kids have not expressed any apprehension. I recognize as a child that you don't always step into speaking your whole self. We've tried to give our young people room to express themselves. I think right now, because we are still present, and any trips that we have been temporary, that it hasn't fully developed into a, is this a thing yet? I have not been able to reach my daughter for probably a week and a half now because she's living her life. She does her thing. I have to call our oldest son, our middle boy, because he's at work. He's at work now.
Yeah.
He works like that. And even with our youngest who's home, when we're in the house, he's always right here. We've spoken to him, twice this week?
Yeah.
Maybe. And one because he called to say, I need this. And the other he called and said, you called me, what do you want? So they're in that transition. Our parents, my father is like, go, because he's a traveler. Go, 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 go. I think your mom is okay, but again, I think it's similar to with the kids. We aren't absent yet. So I don't know if that's
in the same way I communicate with her today is the same way I'd be communicating
right. Wherever.
It would just be a time zone issue.
Yeah, our siblings are pretty much like, it's your life, it's your house, do you? We're probably going to miss our nieces and nephew because they're so young that we're still trying to learn with them. And so we're trying to be a little more committed to, because they don't live where we live, to being committed to, live feeds and FaceTiming and, just getting to know them even in the structure that we have with them. Everybody else in the family, I haven't even tried to find out how they feel. It's just, here's the information. Now, in one exception, the grandmother I mentioned a minute ago.
Yeah. That was rough.
My grandmother was a get in the car, show up at your house kind of driver. Pedal to the metal, drive like her foot weighed 900 pounds, big body cars. She was that kind of person. When her health made it so that her children said, you can't make these kind of trips no more, and they took away her driving privileges, I think it took a little bit away of the person who she is. But they keep her moving, they keep her engaged, they travel with her when it's appropriate. When she found out last year that we were moving abroad, the circumstances on which she thought we were moving caused her some concern. She thought it had to do with in relationship to our daughter and some things going on, and she thought that there was some conflict there. I think we were able to clear that up. We just saw her for her birthday, and one of her first questions was, are you still moving? Are you still planning on leaving the country? Why are you leaving the country? I think more than anything, as is with people whose world is in that screen, is wanting to be sure that we are safe and that wherever we are, our children have access to us and that they are safe. Mm-hmm. And that is a reasonable expectation. Mm-hmm. And so I try to make it my business to assure her that we are not disappearing into the world, that we are not wandering off into the jungles and will be snatched away, that we are simply moving from point A to point B. And that at any point, if she needs me, that I will make myself available. And so that is probably the exception to the outside, the immediate, bubble of the family rule. Other than that, I think people are pretty much like, hey, do you? I know you wanted to answer friends on that.
Yeah. So we had our, then I've got my shirt on today. We went back to our college homecoming weekend, and most of our friends think we're already gone. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's a big deal. Let's see, because we're coming up on our 30th pretty soon. reunions. And so we're planning to
For
kind of come
college.
back for
Mhm.
that. And, but most of our most of our friends are pretty settled that we are going or gone. They're just waiting to hear where we are in the world. Because we are a lot of our classmates, when we were talking to them, either travel extensively or are themselves on their own move abroad process. And so it's really nice to have that community, have that connection.
Mhm.
And that it's not as big a deal to folk to our circles that we're moving.
Yeah.
So,
All
you
right.
know.
Say hi to Tanya.
Hey.
Say hi to Dr. Linda and to Francis B. And hey again to Alan. Good to see you, Alan. Let's see.
If you're waiting until retirement.
So, no.
Okay, so just to clarify, we just turned 50 there.
Mhm.
And we both have worked social service. So social service organizations, nonprofits don't have a structure for retiring as some other processes do. We in 2016, transitioning to corporate work, I just assumed that we were late 40s then, mid 40s then. I just assumed that it would be 20. I'd need to put in another 20 years.
Mhm.
And so retirement seemed really far off because, as I shared earlier this week about student loans, like you can't dream of not working when you've got six-figure debt.
Correct.
And then with the nonprofit organizations that I work with, they gave us access to retirement accounts, Vanguard and that kind of thing, but there was no match. And so finally getting into places where we could have that as a possibility and then really see our money grow, and then learning more about investments and things like that at least helped me see that retirement could be a plan. I'm trying to think of let's see. So last night I watched Coach Malika, Money Coach Malika, and Diamond Crystal, who we've had on the channel before, who I've interviewed, talked about how much, how her process and how she left with a little pot of money and some money in a retirement fund, and how she's continuing to grow that. I think the whole waiting until retirement, I've had to kind of pry my hands off of that I had to wait to be able to do the move abroad.
Mhm.
I think once I realized I have skills that I can take out the door, that I can learn how to manage our investments, continue to allow them to grow fast pace, while we could fund a lower cost of living, then yeah, we will still work, but not in the way that we're working now. If you all haven't seen this is a really good question, Anita. I watched, I believe it was PBS, the PBS NewsHour. They were talking about how people that make over $100,000 are saying, I'm barely making ends meet making over 100,000. These are not people that are buying flashy cars and going on, cruises and vacations 3 or 4 times a year. These are people that are really trying to not even like live the American dream. I've got a house, I've got a car, I pay my insurance, I'm paying for my kids to go to school. I'm just trying to live life. And people are saying $100,000 a year isn't. I was like, who can retire if inflation and other ways that you're living are really taking away your ability to say work is not the center of my life. So yeah, I'm really scared to move before 62. But when last week we talked about, could you live on $2,000? Could you retire? We're looking at retiring, making $2,000 or less. Most Americans, if you have a mortgage, and at this point, most folks rent.
Mm-hmm. You up against that?
You're at 2,000 or more
a month. Mm-hmm.
If you're going into if you go to last week's live, we put the links for Numbio. Put the link for
the world.
The Earth Awaits.
There you go.
So that you can look at, here's a country I'm considering. This is the average amount of rent. This is the average amount of food. If that's what I was looking at, is could I bring in enough by myself? Because what we didn't talk about is when we're looking at how much it costs, is that available if only one of us was working? Mm-hmm. That's how we've always that's how we've always lived. Mm-hmm. We didn't live above what one person could maintain for our household. And so that fear has kind of been quieted, because I can look and see, okay, I could put together some part-time work, some tutoring English online, some consulting, and bam, I've got enough to maintain a basic quality to have a basic quality of life. Places where the rents are going above $1,500, if the base rent is $1,000 or more, those are places that we're saying, if I'm living on $2,000, that's probably going to be a place that's going to what do you call that? It's going to fall outside of my budget, because if I can't keep up with the housing cost, which are potentially going to raise year over year, then this may not be a place for me.
There's, and I'll give you a truncated answer. For me, the history of my employment has never been I work here, and because I work there, I have an ongoing 401 and 401k match. I've not had that opportunity, and so as an entrepreneur, having control over the destiny of my finances has been something that I've had to take into what is retirement, what does that actually look like, and we've done a couple of videos where I've kind of talked about retirement is now not a deadline. It's when do I want to be in a place where what the money I'm making is made and controlled solely or primarily by me. And so retirement is about taking myself out of the institution of I have to be working for these people so that I can do. Now, I do a lot of side stuff, but I'm also trying to recraft and restart this self-employment process in a way that is long-term beneficial and highly beneficial to me, in a way where regardless of what happens, I'm moving forward. And so I'm retiring from I go to for however many hours and I have to work there until, because it's not worked out for me. and it's been really controlling. And that's with the degrees and the and experience and that fluctuating. Um, so waiting for retirement. In addition to that, as we continue to try to improve our health at 50, there are health concerns that are genetic to us that I don't want to wait and see if 62 is good for me.
Yeah. No.
We walked a couple of miles today, and I'm fully aware that I need to get on my game. It felt good. It was great, but the recovery time for me is still too long at 50. At 62, then trying to get myself together or find some way to get a break. And that's not a criticism if that's what, is best for you. Because there are people who at 62 have a plan and they're moving. So many people I've seen at 62 and 72 and because they keep pushing that marker further and further back.
I don't know if did you see that, whether they were saying that they're going to raise the retirement age again to 70. I was like, Yeah. I'm not waiting for. Let's see. So we're 50. It's 12 years. I know we have developed a couple of different ways where I'm just looking at what can I do over the next 10 years, whether that is I bop around, to different countries. So it has to be, I can't, life isn't promised. And I'm stuttering on this because I don't want to lean into fear, but I don't know if I have till 62. And this life is mine. It does not belong to an employer. And I feel like I am grasping that idea with both hands, and saying, if I'm going to work, then I want to work in a way that allows me to have joy in my life, to infuse my life with the creativity and the interest. And what I have heard from people who have moved abroad with sustainability in mind are saying there are things that you learn along the way. If you've never been on a budget before, if you've never paid off debt before, we're going to talk specifically about the momentum that you get. If you've never taken a career break before and realized I need more of this in my life and I can figure it out, if that means I got to cut off this service and say no to a few things so that I can extend this experience because I can see the benefit to my mind, to my body, to my spirit. So yeah, I understand. I feel you, Anita, is where I'm going with that. Is I know that fear. I have held that fear and I'm working my way out of it because people are sharing their stories. And I know the story that I am structuring for the life that I want to have. And I just want to have enough of the right things in play to make it move.
Good.
Tanya Brooks.
Let's see here. You want things to be right financially for you guys as a couple. Absolutely. Keep working the plan. When it's time, your spirit will let you know.
Thank you, Greta.
And that's kind of the mindset we're going with. What is best for us, and we are influenced by what we are and where we are. All outside things are bonus, but we make that from inside the house.
Yep, a lot of truth telling happened in the chat here.
Yeah,
don't rush it.
We're working those debts just like you, Tanya, because I need some of those things to be in the background. There's some things that they're gonna get drug along and
new things might pop up, but baby, I'm not going out here like they say, I'm not going out here with my slip showing. You got to be old enough to know that joke.
I'm done.
Oh goodness, not the adulting dry run.
Hey, and these little trips, Alan, these house sitting projects, he's got to deal with it. He called me yesterday and said the car sounds funny, and that's not information you want to hear when you're away from the house. But he made a point of letting me know. He could have just driven it around, and I come home and the car be busted up. But at least he's making the effort to say there's some things happening. He called when we were here in January and said, "Hey, look at this whole meal I made." And I was like, "Wait, you can cook?"
Wait, what?
Yeah. So yeah, dry run. It's bigger than that.
His and theirs.
Hey, Aileen Brown, good to see you.
Yeah. Yeah, keep on tweaking that timeline. Yes.
Yeah, so they went
It's better to be prepared than in a hurry. LaShawn and I are just very lucky. Wow.
Take care of them ankle bites. No, they're not debts. I'm not holding on to them. Absolutely. I love sister. My granny is she made a point of standing up in the chair and bending over and touching her toes and embarrassing the 5 people in the room who were 50 and younger. So, I told her to stop showing off, but that's it. Let's see. Hey, what's going on, D?
Hey, D.
Good to see you.
Absolutely.
Oh, great question, Greta. Are you growing your finances by investing?
Mm-hmm. You see D's comment right above yours. So, D, we are all up in your content.
So D, we had the opportunity, and again, another opportunity to say thank you.
Yeah,
we had an opportunity to have D on earlier this year
in January. Yep, the Part of Our Money playlist.
I mentioned a minute ago, I've had very little, investing opportunities as far as 401k. And I got this little bit of money that's been sitting here that moved from me to one space to another. And I was sitting here this week doing my educating. You've heard me say that I think sometimes by training, risk aversive. Especially when what I feel I have is so nominal, so little. But you've also heard me say that I know without putting your feet in the water, you can't part the water. And so we have some together money, and we have some, I guess you can say, individually acquired money. All my money is still her money. Yes, but we have some individually acquired money that I'm trying to learn to invest better, because if and when the good Lord moves me to another place, I need to make sure that there's a few extra pots. Now, I know I'm not fooled that she got money all over the place because she's smart like that. And I am still learning my growth process. So I am working on some investing. And that means that I have to, as an entrepreneur, as an independent employer, as a part-time worker and hustler, that I have to learn how to pull some of those small funds and divert them, because my natural response is to take all the money I have and put it where she can get it. I bring it down, I bring it home. I bring it down, I get it home. Ain't no funny cars coming to the house because I ain't buy it. Ain't no new suits hanging up in the closet because I didn't buy it. I bring the money home, she buys it, and then she says, did you take care of, the bills are in my name, so that if all goes sideways, that's how I manage things. And I'm having to learn to invest out into the risk areas. And I say that not because they aren't secure, but because they're new to me. And having to learn that process and call people on the phone and say, okay, I want to do this and that. What does that do for me? So the answer is yes. It's a long answer because I need you to know that there are things we do together, that we talk about together. We're taking this is going here. But in the things that I do individually in my learning process, I'm making a conscious effort to put that in, because when we sat there with that conversation with Dee, I learned a lot. I learned a lot, and learning helps me propel into, well, let's get at a try?
Yep. I opened a new investment account to join Sandra from Lack to Legacy. We had her on earlier this year. She has a goal of 1,000 Black women that open brokerage accounts, and then learn this week as a part of our as a part of the education community that I'm on. I think I'm looking into having a few of the sisters that are um, in that trading group to come and talk, especially the person that's leading our education series, because I didn't realize that having investments in different brokerage accounts gives you some leverage into some of the newer areas with options trading and credit spreads that I had not realized or considered before. And so literally as you are, I mean, if you're not in a learning process or in a learning community, I know our Black Utopia also has some investing education opportunities as well. Please get out here. If you are not investing, you're not giving your money the extra boost, the extra buffer uh, to not let inflation eat away at what you have.
Mm-hmm. Good question. Hey, and you know this, man.
Trust, I've got a sister who I found out we're the same age, and I called her on WhatsApp, maybe 2 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and she was like, come on,
Yeah.
come on. We are in Rhonda. We want to meet you all. Tell us when you are ready to go. And then Alam and Jean's story about going for 3 weeks and not wanting to come back. I was like, I need to be ready.
Listen, yes, what Black people are, yes. This is good information from Nikki. Malaga may be troublesome to asthmatics.
Because it's on the coast, because of humidity. Yeah, your health story is definitely giving me some insight. So thank you.
All right. It takes it. Are there any thoughts on Southeast Asia, Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam? The simple answer is yes.
Greta knows my real secret. So
Thailand is one of those. Southeast Asia has been one of those areas we've kind of gone back and forth with because of the distance. As much as we are talking about the independence of our children and the independence of our parents, we're talking about our children and our parents. And that is a long ride. Because what we would invest in just the travel alone, there's no hopping back on a plane to pop back here if things go, sideways. It is high on the interest list. I think we both bring a lot of Asia, Southeast Asia. I would include India. I mean, I really high interest in those areas. And we're trying to figure out how to visit, but visiting, I'm trying to see if I can get Sandra to send us a ticket or something. just
because her from Lack to Legacy Sandra is in Japan right now, and she's, y'all, I just want to get on a plane and go. Let's see. So Greta knows, because she and I have communicated about Southeast Asia, and this is a good maybe introduction to it. Mm-hmm. So for those of us that are navigating this with getting comfortable with living abroad and kind of testing the waters with our move abroad skills, starting a little closer to home. So I'm even including all the way to Spain, maybe even to Africa. We're talking maybe only about 6 time zones from East Coast. That that is probably what I want to do first, is be close enough, see if, if I can do it, getting that confidence up, and then feeling more confident to move farther away. Mm-hmm. So I feel like Southeast Asia comes with, I'm away. And, if, especially with, we've decided to keep the house for now, I'm just like, I got to feel confident that things are going to go well, because who is it? Bobby and Cedric, I've watched them go back and forth between the states their first year. And I was just like, I can't do that being, 13 time zones ahead. It's either going to fall apart or take care of itself.
That's what Anita says. You're going backwards in time, coming back to this. She just came back.
That's right. Anita just got back, and I was just like, baby, I don't know if I can, I just want to, that's an area, if we get there, that I want to be a lot more confident in my skills, have settled a lot more things, let a few more things shake out. But I'm going to spend some time there because I can, and because I know I already have a community of sisters at least. I've got sisters who are waiting. When are you coming? We got to get together. We have fun on WhatsApp. We're in, we're in the Facebook groups, meeting up, leaning on each other, sharing. And I crave that opportunity to see it for myself. Queen of DC, I'm trying to get her on my channel, but her experience, Anita's time in Vietnam, a lot that she shared, a lot of people that we follow. If you're not looking at Southeast Asia, give it a look, especially if you're looking for a visa and you don't have to, a retirement visa where you don't have to be retirement age, 60, 65. That is what is that. And plus affordability is the biggest attraction to Southeast Asia for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. Is there a strong Black community in Spain?
Ooh, baby. Look, we had the Black in Spain Facebook group. What do you call that? Admin on. I have joined that group very closely. There is a growing, it's not the same as in
Central and South America.
Right. What happens is we're more grouped within the cities or within the within the regions. Mm-hmm. And so some areas are a lot more active than others. So the Madrid group is really strong, really active, but some of the smaller regions are growing. And so, yes, that we have, if you're not familiar with how to find the Black communities, brothers and sisters of, or Black in is typically how you can find those groups. Some groups are hosting meetups. The general country groups don't do that as much, but getting in those, the region groups or even within the city groups is where you can get a lot more traction and get a real feel for being able to say, hey, anybody, I'm going to be in the area. Would you like to meet for coffee or something like that?
Good. Hey, Tracy. Hey, Elise. Good to see you guys.
Freelancing is bae.
Absolutely. And what you all, what you guys are doing down there in San Miguel, you ladies are
And gentlemen.
gentlemen. You much respect for the connection you all are making and the work that you all are putting in down there. And you have our support.
Absolutely.
And,
absolutely. Because Tracy got down with the Get Down Friday night.
Yeah.
If you didn't get on there to see her move abroad advice, and that the community was in the chat giving feedback, that is, I'm understanding that is the culture of San Miguel. So
yeah, that's that. Self-employed freelancing consulting gives you room to pivot. You can make changes on demand. Yeah, consulting with, and we both have a little HR background. We've talked about dancing with that a little bit.
Yeah, let's see. So my goals for this year is to actually, I didn't realize that there was a certification in benefits, so I'll be doing that as well as finishing my SHRM certification. So, and then Alam has given me some breadcrumbs on some other nice trainings to have, in my back pocket that are valuable to employers. So, yeah, I think with this whole process, seeing that I am not beholden to an employer, and the way this crazy, y'all, they're laying teachers off.
Yeah.
I watched that on CBS. They're laying teachers off, but they're laying them off in poorer areas, which means I was like, if you're laying teachers off, that's a critical, there's truancy, there's, all kinds of legal things around that children should be educated, and they're laying teachers off. I have to begin to see that as Alam is a part of my support and understanding the world is moving toward the freelancer. So learning how to take your skills and market them to employers, and that employers are looking for ways to not have to have benefit eligible employees, and that you can make a very good salary for taking that approach. It feels real soft, but because of the number of employers that are pivoting to that, it's also a great way. They're using freelancers as a way to bring people in that is a lower risk. I'm telling you, if you're not freelancing, you need to be in some communities where people are talking about it. The Job Liberation Summit, I had, what's her name? Dr. Kimani on Thursday. That's what the Job Liberation Summit is in May, is they'll literally be talking about remote work, freelance work, how to do it, how to position yourself to be able to be your own boss.
Aileen, yeah, I don't know if we can hold off in 72. Yeah, I want to be able to get on the ground and experience life and enjoy the time. I need to be able to climb the Lisbon streets and and traverse the Sahara and and have the physical wherewithal.
You talking about all that? I'm just talking about, can my body take? And Anita knows this. When we flew to Istanbul, I was like, I don't know these long plane rides. It's something else.
What you say?
I got up and did some calisthenics in the aisle, because
that 10-hour flight was a monster.
It was a monster. It was
hey,
a beast.
Pinky, good to see you. So Greta says she's 25 and attacking her debt. yeah. With so many things happening, and there's been several of us saying 50 when, 50 where.
Yeah.
And we were just talking to an old classmate of ours. And we were like, how did 50 anything show up here, and knowing that time is moving at the pace it is, I don't want to take anything for granted. And so anything that stands in my way financially or health-wise or people-wise, I'm trying to get that swept all the way to the side. You got it with the slip comment.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's all right. That's all right. Yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, your race at your pace. Your race at your pace.
Yeah.
And you're right, Tanya. Yeah. I mean,
too many people.
Nothing is promised. We between 40 and 50, we lost a lot of college classmates. And so 60s and 70s, I can't wait. I can't wait.
It's a good one. Just purchased the book Fire for Dummies by Jackie Cummings Koski. She's a Black woman who has been on CNBC sharing her story. All right, make sure you write that down.
Yep.
We'll check that out. Definitely.
Fire for Dummies. Yeah.
Hey, there's our friend. What's going on?
Hey, Temple, how are you?
Hey, Sam. Good to see you. Yeah, I'm learning the index funds ETFs balance. So keep me in your thoughts on that one.
Yeah, hold on. Go back to Anita. Before. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
When we were talking about it before. Let's see. Look at all those.
Yes.
Let's see.
Yes. Yes. Just going from California to the east, back to the East Coast, it's just like, man, I mean, I use melatonin yet, but it just, the recovery time is something that I have to, is how I have to consider it. So, woo. Yeah, Bali is some distance for sure.
Yeah, it's traveling that distance now is intentional. Stephanie Mills with the famous name. Yeah, the community. She said the community is growing in Spain.
Absolutely.
So that was the question asked earlier by Greta.
And I think there's been community, but having it visible online. Yeah. Hey.
Absolutely.
That's in my learning community. She's got a lot that I'm going to have her on. So I just, people get in here, invest. Yes. Thank you, Greta. Vanguard, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, not just for investing, but there are a lot of good goods for us in the live abroad community. So.
Yeah, they definitely are laying off a lot of critical workers.
Mm-hmm.
And everything is being replaced by something smaller, shorter, faster,
or just left. It's just being left vacant.
Yeah.
And my heart goes out to parents of young children. This is the time where you're stepping up and giving yourself the ability to teach your own children.
And that's why what Alan's saying here is important. We got our hands in a lot of pots. We got a history of hustling and business building. And so we are sorting through, even in this process, YouTube can be exhausting. Content creating can be exhausting because it's a thought process. Even with us coming on here and just saying, hey, we're going live, there's a thought process to this that is overwhelming. And we've been talking about ventures outside of this or expanding in this. And, as they say, we got the day job. But trying to make these little ventures be profitable in a way that doesn't become another taskmaster as well. We've shared that, when we were moving through the decision to pay off, I guess, 90+% of the student loan debt, we got up to, between us, 7 different employment things that we were balancing at the same time. to make it go from a 5-year process to a 13-month process. And at the end of 13 months, we were really excited about the fact that we had
knocked it down.
knocked it down.
At what cost?
But what we dealt with on the other side of that was our health was extremely compromised. And the tax debt that resulted from that employment has put us on hold this year.
Yep.
But no more.
No more.
So, those things are important. The way that the U.S. government and tax structure and employment structure is set up, it's a gotcha situation. And you can get caught up we were trying to do something right, and it doubled back on us. No, we aren't going to sit home and collect checks. No, we aren't going to, let somebody else pay for it and sneak out. But we are learning the balance of, let's take care of that. That can be taken care of now. That's a necessity. This one will have to hold.
Yeah.
This one will have to wait. This will get we don't like minimum payments because, but there are some things that get what it gets when it gets it. And that's not to be irresponsible. That's to say, this is something that can be done in this process. I learned the habit of this needs to be taken care of. I can put my needs or my wants on hold.
No more.
And
no more.
It's time out for that, because there are some things that I'd like to do that I'm having to relearn to say to myself, it's okay to do that.
Yep.
I've had a couple of those conversations on the Man Monday. It's just, hey, wait, it's okay to invest in me. It's hard to say that when it looks like any investment is going to can cause your home a damage or pause. But when I started my catering business, we had been unemployed at least a year, almost 2 years. We had been underemployed for 2 years, and the apprenticeship that I took, it wasn't paying me. It essentially was.
It was a stipend.
It was not paying. It was a stipend that amounted to a meal out, but it put me on the road. My very first culinary job was managerial. I didn't start in the dishwasher. I didn't start on the line. I started as an assistant manager. I moved from assistant manager to owning my own business. I moved from that to kitchen manager. I moved from that to executive chef. I moved from that to another executive chef position. And I never went to school. And so finding ways to make what we have, put ourselves back in the risk for profit place is important. So
absolutely.
Let's see. Greta says she's getting new knees.
All right, now.
Buy me some too, girl.
Okay. Real stories happening in the chat.
Yes.
Retired at 66. I'm the queen of ETF. Teach us. Teach us.
I know you have her number. Give her a call.
We're already scheduled to talk this weekend.
Yeah. When you're scheduled to talk, get on live, get on speaker, because I'm ditching in this time.
Yeah, because what I'm finding out is this is how we're breaking down our budget, and this probably could be its own conversation. Is there a process that I can do that will cover my rent?
Excuse me.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Is there something else that I could, another venture that is only paying for my food? Okay. This is how the money that I earn doing this is going to fund our food budget. And that way I'm not trying to earn $2,000. Mm-hmm. I'm really just trying to earn $700 to cover my rent. And then everything, what do you call that? Everything backs down from that. So
Yeah.
If that is the approach you have to have to break it into smaller pieces. I see Agent Grateful's here.
Hey, Agent Grateful. Yeah.
When they said there's an account that's specifically for this, is an account for food, an account for transportation, and that way you're organized, but also I would say I would be what do you call it? Funding those accounts separately.
Listen,
you got to find a way to keep track of it and help it to make sense.
I sat back in my chair watching that when I was like,
yeah,
man, that put the envelope system
next level envelopes. Yep. Trying to figure out an investment strategy.
Still want to have enough money to my retirement. Yes. Flying business class, flying first class.
Hey, anything more than 4 hours.
Yes. Going back to that knee conversation you just had a minute ago. My knees were not happy in that flight to Morocco.
Major Alpha 4, yeah. I'm trying to figure out an investment strategy for when I move. Once you're a non-resident in Canada, you can't contribute to your tax advantage account, so not sure what to do. So, Major Alpha 4, meet Black Women Build Wealth. If she hasn't covered it yet, Sam, can you make sure that you are talking about this topic on your channel? Because these are things people definitely should know about.
Yeah, same thing with D. Check out D's page. Yeah,
because Sam is in Canada, so I know that she's usually giving very general information, but she may also be doing that for people who live in Canada. Yes, pay yourself first. Yeah, hold on. Yes, okay, so I'm going to tell y'all a little story. The whole pay yourself first, I had a little job. I had a temp job. And my mom taught me pay yourself first. And I'll tell you how old I am. So the slip joke was the first one that should tell you how old I am. She said, even if all you can do is buy yourself a pair of stockings, pay yourself. Learn the habit of paying yourself first. And if you were back in the day, those Hanes, the really nice one with the control top, were $10. I wasn't making a whole lot of money, but you need to have something that is laughing at me.
I'm sorry, I tried to hold on.
What she was saying was that you need to have some evidence. Okay. All your money shouldn't just be eaten up, literally eaten up. It shouldn't be in the ether. It should be something that you can put your hands on, something that is relevant to for your joy, for your self-care. But as I've gotten older, paying myself first is that automatic payment that comes out. And you can automate so much. If you all are not doing if your job has the self service in your payroll portal. So I have a certain amount that comes out for our 401k. I know that Agent Grateful has talked about, I want to max out my HSA, whatever your age is. If it's $6,000, I divide that by 26 if you're paid every 2 weeks. And so how much do I need to be depositing so that I can hit that max at the end of the year? That comes out automatically. When that is the automation part of the pay yourself first, that I now feel like is giving me the advantage for living on less, but also making sure that I stay focused on my financial goals. And so, Yeah, I have the debt payments.
Mhm.
There's an account where that goes. How much are all of those together? Break that into however many pay periods, and that's what's going into the account every month. It's just stack, stack, stack. And so now I'm learning to live
Mm.
on less because those are going to pay the bills. Now, how am I going to live on what's left?
And that's not a challenge for me, because it's money that's supposed to be doing what money had. A challenge for me is I need a new hat.
Mm.
I need a new shirt. I need to buy, a new pair of jeans. It's the things that are, this is solely me.
Mhm.
I wanted these tech thing. I wanted this, I want to fix something that I broke. It's those things that, for lack of a better way of saying, that I fall into the guilt factor with.
Mm.
Yeah, this money could be better used if, whatever. I'll limp on this leg, because if I spend money trying to get a stent on this leg,
but
then it could have done it.
It's always going to be something, and that is
Right. But we were trained into that.
right. Agreed.
Hurt goes away. The money you spent trying to figure out how to, stop getting hurt, but you don't realize that, you needed to have been getting some serious physical, medical attention. Those little things, you don't realize you have those little habits until you go. Somebody say, well, why didn't you take care of this before? And you say, well, I was just worried about how much it costs. And it's like, but now it costs more.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You do have to stop the bleeding first. But
you don't need no fried chicken. Y'all eat too good already. Y'all don't need no fried chicken.
Yes, Fidelity does have daily live videos. They have series for women. They just had a good one. Technical versus, oh shucks, the two different kinds of analysis that you can do. If y'all are not getting these free trainings,
I'm with Vanguard, and same thing. Vanguard, Fidelity, Schwab, they're all doing a lot of that.
Great training.
That's the whole name of a restaurant.
Good
fried chicken and new knees. You gotta be able to show your old enough card to come in that restaurant.
Oh wow. Especially Black and brown Americans feeling like they have to keep up with the system built to stop you at the gate.
Yeah.
And we, talking about the student loan debt, it's like earlier and earlier. It used to be the pull to get a house. And so at least you could live your late teens, early 20s debt free. And the first debt that you would potentially have in the 50s and 60s was, our first real debt outside of a car is going to be a house. Mm-hmm. But now the way I feel about student loans is they lock you into a debt chokehold earlier and earlier in your life. So you have to be tied into work so that because those payments are so high and come so early in your life, you are not ready for them. Most students, if you look at how much your accumulated debt is going to be at the end of 4 years, is your salary going to be that? When I figured out that those little books where it gives the salary range were a lie. Psychologists make, between X amount and the X amount. And I'm just like, oh, that was just telling you what they make in various states. That's not the salary range you could expect an employer to offer you
anywhere.
Anywhere.
Yeah, I was involved in a workforce development HR program where we had to learn OneNet.
Yes, ONET.
ONET. Mm-hmm. ONET. and it had all the things that defined what payments were, and what the job. And man, my head was in the clouds until I went and applied for those jobs, and what they were offering wasn't on that scale at the back end. Yeah. All right, I'm going to answer this question. And Greta, we're praying for you if you get your surgery.
Yes.
Keep us in touch with that. Okay, so Anita.
And not only Anita, but my sister, I just saw your message, Andrea.
What?
She just messaged me while we're live and said, do it. And it's so much simpler to do it outside.
So I'm gonna answer the question like this. Yes, it is in consideration. And I'm saying that live here, recorded in front of do you see her? So yes, it is in consideration.
His pies ship well to all 50 states.
And I do currently ship baked goods. As bean pies, sweet potato pies, bourbon chocolate chip pecan pies, pound cakes,
cinnamon rolls.
Yes, vegan cinnamon rolls. So sweet potato, blueberry, lemon. Yes, I'm selling all that right now. So you can catch us on in the DMs. H&D Soul Food merch. Let's see what is Sam saying.
Yes, thank you for doing that. So we have an answer to Bayesian Alpha 4. Yep, she's also looking into doing that. Excellent. Okay. Thank you. A lot of Canadians here go back after 6 months. So, wow. Yeah, is that because of snowbirds? Alam, possibly.
H&D Soul Abroad restaurant. It's trying to give us a title and everything.
Make sure you open your accounts before. Ooh, yeah, because they have you confirm all your stuff and make sure you're not money laundering. So make sure you get all your stuff in place before.
No comments from me. No comments from me. No comments from me. All I can see is old ladies. All I can see is
oh my gosh.
No more stockings and no more being stuck. That's right, April Christmas. Yeah.
Oh my. Oh wow. Thank you all so much. Yeah, just great examples. Save $25 a month. Investing $5. I think that's what Dee was saying that she was going to do, is to show how investing just $5 every pay period or every week, how you could use that to grow as well. So what could you make? We'll see. I'm right there.
And Temple, you're still a baby, so come on. What could make you not move abroad this year, and how are you preparing for it? Okay. So one of the things we kind of started off with this, not definitely roll back. What's hit us this year is there are some taxes. There are some taxes that I want that we feel is best we dispel. I do not want to deal with them before we leave.
I don't want to not deal with them before we leave.
Right. And so we're trying to, if we can get them crushed, then this year might still be on the
horizon,
on the docket, because then we'll be able to put some things back that is pulling away from us.
A major health bill.
A major health issue could potentially, and so we are attacking our health. Right now in the kitchen are 3 pots of dried beans cooking that Miss D put on. And as soon as y'all let me go, I'm gonna be in there with a spoon. Because that is
health, being in good health is a priority.
Correct.
And I think I've decided I can risk out if mommy got really sick or if dad got really sick. I think we're probably we may have to shift since we're not gone, where we would be bringing them to where we are.
Correct.
We would probably have to shift to with a as far as a delay, but I don't think that it would keep us from going. We're really trying to the preparation things around family unity, making sure at a minimum if our parents got sick, if our kids, something happened with the kids, that we know where we would go in Mexico. And it would be a straightforward process with somewhere where we already have residency.
Correct.
To then be able to move. Unfortunately, I know she's not going to want to move. I know mommy's not going to want to move. That at least I've got that, because y'all, the medical debt is the number one reason why people are declaring bankruptcy in the US. And so thinking about if I needed memory care or you needed memory care, that I can't do any of that kind of health care in the States, that I've got to have somewhere to go. So health issues are probably at the top of my list. Financial issues are the things that I think might still be the things that would have me in a grip. But the more I learn about other places, and the more I understand what we can do with what we have, it would just be, okay, our timing is about making sure that, hey, I can hire the attorney that's going to help us get this process going. And we would still be in the works of moving forward. It just might be some extra steps we have to take in between, but we out.
And Sam, the aggressive stance that we're taking about it is profound. We are pushing forward hard. This goes here. This cannot do that. If we're taking any trips this year, they are budgeted and planned for and intentional, and they are about us and not, we're tossing money around. Anything that we're doing is intentional this year.
I want to address the opposite of that. What could make our move this year that I have never wanted to say out loud is kind of like what happened with Sean and Holly. If I get laid off, then we're selling the house and we're moving and we'll be out before the end of the year. So, or at least we're out.
Because we're taking the resources that we have at that point and finding a better situation to utilize them in. So, yes.
So being prepared for both.
Correct.
Or at least being aware that we can still move forward regardless of the scenario.
Yeah. I didn't have a pocketbook.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you all. I see so many.
Let's see. Hey, Marilyn B. Good to see you.
Good.
Let's see.
Permanent might be helpful for you to bring it.
Yes.
Really?
Yes, it is.
Look, yes, it's why I did not want him to do chef's work.
Here's another truth. Here's another truth. A part of the apprehension. And here's how, and you think having a behavioral science background that you would know this, but here's how the psyche can be affected. As men, we put in as hard as we can. It's what we are trained to do. It's what we learn to do. You work hard. You work till you're tired. If you're not tired, you didn't work hard enough. That's drilled in. I went to work for our alma mater, and I went to work for our alma mater because college food is what it is, and it was really unpleasant when we were students. It was unpleasant, and I wanted the opportunity to provide a service. It was my kind of my give back, um, and I can proudly say that I did that. The downside is we were minimum 60 hours a week, and during my time there, within the first year being there, I had a health crisis. I had a mild stroke at 46, and it creates an anxiety. I acquired an anxiety associated with because when I go in, I'm all in. I figured out at my last job, I think I shared this with you. I figured out at my last job that where people stress eat, I stress cook. It helps. I'll come home after a hard day and put in, and she's like, why did you cook all this food? I'm burning some of that out. And so one of the things that I've been working through in the last year or so is balance. And so one of the things, when I cater a project, I named all those little baked goods and things. But when I cook a meal, when I prepare a meal, when I prepare a baked good or whatever, you don't get that until I'm happy with it's what it's going to be. I don't provide food that I'm not happy with. I had an incident a couple of years ago. Somebody asked me to make a pan of macaroni for Thanksgiving. One of my coworkers, and I went home after a long day, and was snatching stuff out of the cabinet and putting stuff in, and made their pan at the end of the day and drove it to their house and gave it to them. And I was back home getting ready to take care of some things, and I realized that I had mistaken ground mustard for ground ginger. And I called her on the phone and I said, your dish is wrong. And I stood there. I went to the store and rebought all of the stuff and came back home and remade the whole pan and took it back to her. It was middle of the night by the time I was done. That's how I work. And I don't regret that. I don't apologize for that. But I recognize that whatever I have to do in this, because I'm so geeked about it. I love creating with my hands. There's no box. I don't start with no cake mix to make a cake mix. I'm making the cake from fresh. I'm buying the chicken, and I'm, now if you get your chicken salad, I might buy a Sam's chicken and cheat on it with you. But I mean, I want it to be as fresh as possible. I pride myself in that. But when we don't balance, I'm not 20 anymore. And so the projects that I'm investing in have to be done in a way where I control myself. And so I had to move past anxiety. So again, here's a plug for counseling. Because I had to have someone say, you're not going to fall apart. It's not going to kill you. But I have to manage my stress, which means conversations that I have with my wife, conversations that I have with peers. I can't bottle my anger, my frustration, my stress. I got to go over there and find some way to put that. Okay. When you hear us talk about the things and the challenges that we're dealing with, building friendships, finding balance, these are real things in our lives about what we're dealing with and how they are affecting us, not have affected us, are affecting us. And I take that seriously. I would love for you to sit at my table. I would love to have, a family style table, and you all sit there and I make you a meal, and, you throw some money in the jar and we have a good time. But I also know that I have to balance my desire to do everything. Cousin called me and said, my daughter is having an event. She has a very unique illness that affects her health sometimes. And she says, we're having a fundraiser and I'd like you to make some things. She asked for some things. I made some things. I have to learn balance. And so everything in my life now is learning balance as I move forward to take advantage of the thing. So that it is a lot of work, and it can be intrusive and invasive and health challenging, but I feel more confident in my ability to make the choices that I'm making, and I am definitely thankful for the continued support and encouragement.
Yep.
So yes.
Okay. Yes.
Got everybody going yummy.
Oh, wow.
Let's see.
Canadians lose their tax resident status and some health benefits after being out of the country for more than 182 days, 83 days in a calendar year. That's why so many go back after 6 months. Like the snowbirds. I did not realize that. Wow.
Yes, those beans are killing me in there, girl. They're killing me.
Woo, she just renamed it right there.
Oh, yeah. And Mexico is still on our soft landing.
Oh, 100%. All our family. Y'all know how much family we have in Mexico.
Yeah. Let's see.
We've got family. I highly recommend. Yes. 7. I think Adelia's talking. Adelia of Picky Girl Travels the World is talking about doing another no spin challenge. We did. What's her name? Oh goodness. Tasha Journeys.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I did her no spend challenge before April 15th. That ended on April 15th. Made it. The debt repayment part, I made it. So, continuing to have that and participate in those kinds of things that just raises your awareness of what you're spending and why you're spending it. Yes.
Let's see.
More advice. Yeah.
You want it to be the best. Chef, I trust me. I get it, and that's why I think a lot of chefs don't. It's because they teach you perfectionism, and that's why I didn't go to culinary school. I have enough. I have enough self-criticism as it is.
Yep.
Listening, folk, we gave. You all came,
and we have stopped doing 1 hour plus.
Well, this one we knew was going to be because
really special,
right?
Yeah.
We thank you for allowing us to share, and thank you for coming to hang out with us
asking the questions, because what we want is the content to really line up. We are transparent, mm-hmm. probably to a fault. Mm-hmm. And that is because there's a lot on the internet about the move abroad process that's pretty, that is video edited, that is beautiful filters, that show a great life. This process of getting out takes time. Somebody literally messaged me and said, I don't understand why I woke up one day and I was out by the end of the week. If that is your journey, I am so proud of you. Mm-hmm. But for those of us who it takes time mentally, emotionally, financially, I'm hoping that our transparency validates the respect that we have for the various ways people have to leave, and that being honest, we hope, will be an inspiration that says it doesn't matter how many roads you wind down, there is an out that I can find for me, for my family, mm-hmm. and for my future.
Andrea, if you're still listening, thank you. I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
I hear you. Each and every one of you, is always great to have you here. We're going to go and enjoy the rest of this quiet Saturday. I'm going in here with my spoon to work on these beans. And well, she ate all my jerk chicken and beans and rice. So
yes, that tofu jerk chicken. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Yeah,
I call it chicken, but you know,
I'm going in here and get my get back. But you all have a great day. Mm-hmm. Next week we'll catch you from the road because we're gonna do a little. Do a little traveling.
Yes.
And it's always great to learn from you all. Keep us in your thoughts. We'll keep you updated. We got several people set up for.
Okay. So we're doubling down on the country hopping. We'll be talking to folks in Panama, folks in Portugal, folks. Come on through. Come on. We'll see you next Saturday.
We got ways for you to make contact with us in the description. Jump in, connect with us. We'll see you all soon.
And yes, I will be dropping H's how you can get in contact with him if you'd like a few of his culinary treats.
You know where to find me. See y'all soon.
Bye for now.
Bye.